Good. All right. Bear with me 1 second, Israel. All right, shalom, Israel. Yahweh Bashim Yahshua Come Yahweh Shemar Bashim Yahshua. Precinct officer 5,000. You die holding it down until 12 Shield General Mahayaman gets here. General Mahayaman will be in the building shortly. Any questions that you have, type them in the chat so the general can get to them. Now, understand something. Black, First Nation, and Latino man and woman. Now is the time more than ever to come out of the world and for us to understand that who we truly are. We are the Israelites of antiquity, the real Jews, man, the real ethnic Israelites. And it's time for us to come back to our identity and coming out of Christianity, coming out of that, that Muslim mosque, coming out that church, coming out your fake Israelite group. I mean, everybody's seeing what's going on. The Lord is telling us who, has the truth. You know what I mean? The I.S.U.P.K, we've been doing this since 1969. You know what I mean? And understand something. Let me get Micah chapter 2 and verse 10, Bubba, for sure. Our problem is we have the mindset of the oppressor. We want to live like our slave master. We want to live his lifestyle. We cannot live like that. We cannot continue to think that we free white in 21, continuing to think, that we are Americans. We cannot live this lifestyle of this beast. We got to come out of America. And when I say come out of America, I don't mean to get on a boat and go somewhere or get on an airplane. No, take your mind out this place. Strip your mind of the Christianity. That's what we have to do as the Lord's chosen people. This place right here is diabolical, They don't know what a woman is. They don't know what a man is. You can identify as whatever. Salakia. That's a rough spot. Right. Understand something. And the scripture is going to explain it even better. Read what you got.
This is the book of Micah, chapter 2 and verse 10.
Go ahead.
Arise ye and depart.
The Lord said to arise ye and depart. Meaning we got to get up out and get out of this place. Get your mind out of America. Keep going.
For this is not your rest.
For this is not your rest. What's so heavy about this, Mahayaman, is this. This place is not our rest. How are we going to get rest when the First Nation man and woman who were the real, Israelites? Right. First Nation man, you are of the tribe of Gad. Seminole Indian man and woman, you are the tribe of Reuben, being persecuted day in and day out. I.S.U.P.K, the Mexicans, being persecuted. How is it that we can have rest in a place like this? Where every time you snap your finger in 5 seconds, a First Nation sister is being snatched off a reservation. While Latino brothers and sisters are being abused in them cages, man, at the border. While the Ukrainians get to walk on through. While the Arabs and the Africans and the Asians get to walk on through. Let me dispel a myth for everybody. Where everybody's talking about, Trump and these mass deportations, and which goes to show you why he's the devil that the Bible speaks of.
That's right.
In particular, targeting Issachar, targeting, Zebulon, targeting Asher, our brothers and sisters in Central, America, Mexico, and South America is so evil because they make it seem like, well, they're the illegal alien. Do you have any idea how many illegals are in this country? And technically, a Latino can't be illegal in this country. Why? Because this land belongs to the Mexican. It belongs to the First Nation man and woman. It belongs, to the Seminole Indian man and woman.
Right.
But here's the thing, Ibaya. The oppressor came over here on a boat, but he want to call our brothers and sisters wetbacks. But he's the real wetback, crossed an entire ocean so he could avoid taxes. It's evil. And you want to say somebody's an illegal alien and they're not here legally. Where are your papers? Where are your papers? Right. Here's another thing. You know where they really need to send ICE? I bet you if you sent ICE into every Chinatown in America, how much are you willing to wager that all of them are legal? Oh yeah, they hop off the plane in the boat too. They're not legal. You don't see ICE persecuting the Chinese, the Japanese, or the Arabs, or the East Indians. The East Indians is another one that got big numbers, and Africans that are so-called illegal in this country. Right. Tell you something, man. Your Lord has something in store for the oppressor and what he's doing to God's chosen people. And that's why all these plagues and all these curses in World War III, it's right around the corner. It's right around the corner. Read on, Ibud.
Because it is polluted.
This place is polluted. It has polluted our minds in this way. We think, our way of thinking is exactly the way the oppressor thinks. And the oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Right. We think it's all right to celebrate your birthday, to celebrate Thanksgiving, to celebrate Christmas. You know what I mean? Sisters believing in the ceremony of America's version of marriage, when God said sex is marriage.
Right.
That's a rough spot to be in. That's a rough spot to be in. Where you're so, you've been, colonized to the point where you think and breathe just like the oppressor. It polluted our minds. You're more accepting to the LGBTQ, and all the rest of their lasciviousness and proclivities. That's another rough spot to be in when God is against that. They call that an alternative way of living, but the Most High said it was an abomination unto him. Right. This place is polluted, Black, Latino, and First Nation man and woman. Keep reading.
Okay. Because it is polluted, it shall destroy you even with a sword destruction.
It shall destroy you even with a sword destruction. You trying to follow after the American dream and live that lifestyle and not do what the Lord said to do, it's going to destroy you. It is going to destroy you. How do we know that? The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, if you go on down from verse 15, talks about the curses. Where the Lord said, paraphrasing, where he said he was going to smite you with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart. But we get to the point where we lost who we truly are. And that's also in the scriptures. Give me Jeremiah 17 and verse 4. And we have no idea who we are in a land serving our oppressor and serving our enemies because we disobeyed our God. If you ever wanted to know why everything in your life is not going right, because you haven't tried the Lord's way. And the Lord's way is the correct way. Paraphrasing the scripture, I believe it's in Ezra, where it's a straight and narrow path with water on one side and fire on the other. You got to walk that straight and narrow path. You got to come up in the Israelite school of UPK and be raised up the right way. Because if you're not, Jesus, God, you're going to be on Amazon looking at pagan kits.
Right.
Trying to teach somebody, Negro, you sick. You need to be in a hospital somewhere. You know what I mean? And telling the doctor that you don't want your wife to shove up your head. Salaki. Goes to show you that this is not a job for everybody. This priesthood is very special.
Right.
And you also have to understand this too. That it takes a special type of brother to be up here and get up in this work and be consistent with it. It ain't for every brother. I don't advise it for every brother. But if you get up in this work, man, it comes with a level of responsibility that you cannot begin to imagine. The best way it was broken down to me, Commander General YAHANNA said, imagine you're filling out an application. But in this, you're filling out an application to rule in Christ's kingdom under him. And guess what? You just might get the job. Maintain it. Don't mess up.
Right.
Don't mess up and take it seriously.
Right.
For once in your life, Black, Latino, and First Nation man and woman, let's take something seriously. And the main thing that we have to take seriously is this truth. That's why you got to strip the Christianity and the Islam off your mind. That's why I expect you to be in Atlanta for the Lord's Passover, man. That's right. To be in Atlanta, Most High in Christ. To be in there for the Lord's Passover coming up. April 12th, I bought in Atlanta, Georgia, man. The only Passover. That stuff that y'all doing in them fake groups, that's just a lamb dinner that you have.
Right.
That's all that is. That is not the Passover. Read what you got, I bought.
Okay. This book of Jeremiah, to the 17th and verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thy inheritance.
The Lord said that thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thy inheritance. We've been discontinued from our inheritance because we wanted to live like these other nations. Because we want to celebrate a birthday. For some of you, celebrating a birthday is everything. Not realizing that it's really you just being king for a day, queen for a day. I'm a god, a goddess for a day. And let me explain something to you. Nobody gives a damn about your birthday.
Right.
Nobody gives a damn about it. There's nothing special about it. It's nothing special about Christmas, Thanksgiving, the 4th of July, Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day. I saw y'all Negroes outside in green, and I was ashamed. It's a rough spot. The Lord don't give a damn about that. You out there wearing green for St. Patrick, who wasn't a real saint, because Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, we're the real saints. Guess what? You were wearing green because we've been discontinued from our inheritance.
Right.
Why? Keep reading.
Okay. And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thy heritage that I gave thee.
That I gave thee. The Lord didn't give it to everybody. He gave this to us. The Lord said in Deuteronomy 32 and verse 8 that he set the bounds of the nations and gave them their own land. Their own land, their own space. But Israel was the one that was going to inherit. Israel is the one that the Lord chose. And that's us, Black, Latino, and First Nation man and woman. He didn't choose everybody. Because he chose us and we disobeyed him, that's why we're being punished.
Right.
What you have to understand is think of the Most High like a father, because that is exactly what he is. He's our father. Like Christ said, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. He ain't everybody's father. And when you have an excellent father, what does your father do when you do something wrong? Your father doesn't reward you with a PlayStation 5 if you get all F's and D's and you acting like a monster in school and around the house. That's a bad father. I saw one the other just today I bought of a brother in all purple with his son dressed like, you know what I mean, a woman. Talking about he taking his son to prom. That was shameful, Mahayaman. Shameful. Evil as hell. Evil as hell. You're not supposed to go along, you know what I mean, with the lifestyle that the oppressor is pushing on our people and our babies, man. You ain't supposed to go for that. A good father, I saw another one, Mahayaman, of a father putting his 13-year-old daughter out. Like, you got to go stay with your mom. You're not going to be in here, you know what I mean, being a whore, being a deviant, doing drugs in my house. That's a real father. That's how you're supposed to be.
Right.
And that's what the oppressor does not want. He don't want us in our households. But guess what? Because they came in with, you know what I mean, with their philosophy and polluted the minds of our people, guess what? We living like them. And because we living like them, guess what? We've been discontinued from our inheritance that the Lord gave us, because he did not give this to everybody. The Lord said if he gave it to anybody else, they'd be serving him right now.
Right.
Keep going.
And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies.
He said, and I will cause thee to serve who?
Thine enemies.
We are serving our enemies. I know this is another thing I need you to understand. The oppressor and all of these different heathen nations, they are our enemies.
Right.
They truly are. They don't give a damn about us. Well, we have to understand, because this is one thing I've been realizing too, Ibad. When they push, you know what I mean, that FBA garbage on social media and Twitter, because that's really all it is. And you hating on the Haitians, hating on the West Indians, hating on the Puerto Ricans, vice versa. What you're really doing is pushing that divide and conquer tactic that the oppressor imposed, because they don't want Blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians to realize that we are the same people and us coming back together. Because if we come back together, we flipping the table over. Hell, we doing that here in the I.S.U.P.K. right now. We flipping the table, changing the narrative. They know that is going to be destructive. Let me tell you something. I saw on TikTok the other day about brothers was complaining like, oh man, it's about to get rough. They bringing back segregation. I wish they would. Because you know what bringing back segregation will do? It will force Blacks and Latinos and Native American Indians to love each other. It will force our people to love each other.
Right.
Because the Lord said that he would, that we would be serving our enemies. You serve your enemies every day. I don't care how much money you make at that job.
Right.
Let me tell you about you and that job. It doesn't matter how much money you make, you are still underpaid. It doesn't matter what your title is, what your position is. Guess what? You go to an elevator plantation.
Right.
That's what you go to. That's what you go to. And extremely underpaid. I don't even got to bring that up. And the conditions that we live in, good night. I know all of us, we all be looking at our bills like this here at home, like, God, man, I don't want to do this. We are in captivity. We are serving our enemies. Our enemies don't live like that. Our enemies live deliciously off of us. Asians come in and live deliciously off of the children of Israel. I was battling with a brother just the other day, my thumb, y'all telling me, well, the Latinos got these businesses and they send it back to the DR in Puerto Rico and they live rich. I'm like, brother, I can tell you have never been to Puerto Rico or the DR in your life. People think that the DR and Puerto Rico are just tropical paradises to where the Puerto Ricans, and you let FBA tell them, dumb y'all, they get that money and they go back and like, oh, we getting off with these niggas. They are struggling just like we are.
Right.
Have you seen Puerto Rico? Have you seen the DR? They love to say, well, Haiti is hell. It's a shithole. That's what they say. You do realize that the Dominican Republic and Haiti is the same place, right?
Right.
It's one island, the Isle of Hispaniola. Let me tell you something. Our Hispanic brothers are just in hell the same way we are. They don't own those businesses and them buildings. You know who does? The Asians do. Moab owns those businesses. And I'll tell you what Moab does. Moab buys those businesses, rents it out to them, and guess what? You know what the rent is? The rent is sometimes 4 to 8 times the price it should be. You know where they learn that from? The oppressor and the so-called Jew tell them that. Jack the prices up on the blacks and Latinos. The Asians won't do other Asians like that, but they can do that to that black and Latino man and woman. Listen, man, Ephraim and Simeon are struggling just as much as us, Judah. And we are one nation, one family. We are familia. Nosotros somos familia, una raza.
Right.
And I'm not saying we don't have no Uncle Toms or Uncle Tomahawks and Uncle Tomases, because we have all 3 of them. And I'm here to tell you, the oppressor is not our friend. He is the devil that the Bible speaks of. El hombre blanco es el diablo. He is our enemy. Even though he'll smile in your face, might buy you a little breakfast or whatever here and there, say some sly stuff, but he cannot stand our people. And that goes for all of these heathens.
Right.
We serve our enemies right here and right now. Case in point, look at what's going on with Issachar. Look at what's going on with Simeon. Look at what's going on with Levi. Catching hell at the border.
Right.
Is any other nation catching hell? No. We serve our enemies. To this day, keep going.
Thy enemies, I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not.
We don't know this land. Let me tell you something. A boat ride separated us, Black, Latino, and First Nation man and woman. Judah got sent over here to North America. Levi got sent to Haiti. Simeon got sent to the other side of Hispaniola, the Dominican Republic. Ephraim got dropped off in Puerto Rico. Even you calling yourself Puerto Rican is this. Puerto Rico means port of riches, rich port. And they named the slaves, the Taino Indians, the children of Israel, the tribe of Ephraim after that. You're not Cuban. You're not Puerto Rican. You're not Dominican. We're the real Jews and Israelites, man. And we're not originally from those places. A boat ride is how we got dropped off by God.
Right.
That's what happened. That ain't our land. This ain't our land. Man, listen, our land right now is being occupied by our enemies. By our enemies.
Right.
What do I mean by our enemies? Everybody is up in arms. And let me tell you black people something too. Let me talk to the brothers for a second. Tribe of Judah. You want to sit up there And this is one thing I didn't understand, I wanted to ask these FBAs this. Ask them niggas if they support Palestine. They'll tell you. But you got a problem with Ephraim, you got a problem with Simeon, you got a problem with Levi. Do the Palestinians, shalom warrior, do the Palestinians support us? Hell no. Hell no. Palestinians don't support black people or Latinos or Native American Indians, but want all of the sympathy in the world, man. They want all the sympathy in the world, but you can't get it. You can't get it. Because here's the thing, that land doesn't belong to Palestine. That land doesn't belong to the oppressor that calls himself a Jew. That land belongs to blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians. Because we are the children of Israel, man. Listen, even our name, Israel, Yasha Allah, which means princes of the power of your brother, princess of the power of your sister. Right now, we are in the captivity of our captors. Keep going.
For ye have kindled a fire in mine anger.
Drop that. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68. I'll show you the big one. I'll show you the boat race. And that's also in the Bible. And that's another thing that they don't want to be taught. I know everybody is up in arms about Trump canceling everything, that you can't go up and look in the archives in the U.S. government about prominent Black and Latino soldiers, you know what I mean, cutting that out. They did that with the critical race. He started with the critical race theory. Then they continued it with the DEI. They're trying to erase history. Listen, right now, if you look in your kids' books, their history books, some of them books is calling, you know what I mean, the transatlantic slave trade, the Great Migration. That we just decided to willingly come over here and be indentured servants. That's a lie.
Right.
The only people that came over here and willingly signed an agreement with America to be indentured servants or to be a lower class was the Irish. And they didn't get a bad deal because they became the cops. They started their own gangs and they ended up making hella money, millions of dollars off of our backs, along with the Italians. But Black, Latino, and First Nation man and woman, our boat ride was very different. And I'm going to show it to you. Give me Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68.
Okay. This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
The Lord said that he was going to bring us into Egypt again. Now remember, we walked out of Egypt the first time. We was able to walk out of Egypt. Walked out, you know what I mean? Came up. We walked in, 70 deep, my God, and came in and came out a nation.
Wow.
Egypt also, which means Egyptos in the Greeks, which means bondage, which means slavery. So the Lord is saying, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt slavery again. Read.
With ship.
With what?
With ship.
Can you spell that word for me, everybody?
S-H-I-P-S.
The Lord said that he was going to bring us into slavery again with ships. Who did that happen to? You cannot go into history and find Arabs, Asians, Africans, oppressors being sold into slavery with ships and having their whole identity stripped from them. Show me in history where Li Chen became John Lee. You can't. But Mathumya became Joseph Smith. I.S.U.P.K became, Ricky Johnson. Mayaka Allah became Mike Jones. Like, goddamn, that's how it happens. That didn't happen to nobody else, but it happened to our people. And that's in the Bible. And also, too, here in Philadelphia, if you go up the 46th Street station, right, there's it's a federal building right there. And when you look at that federal building, at the very top of the gold tip is a slave ship. Goes to show you that the first insurance companies, they financed the transatlantic slave trade. They financed it. Keep going, about.
So God, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again.
Thou shalt see it no more again. What have we not seen again? We have not seen our land. We haven't seen Israel. We haven't seen it. But you know what we do see? We see Southwest Philly. We see North Philly. We see West Philly. We see Trenton, New Jersey. We see Harlem, New York. We see Skid Row out there in Los Angeles. We haven't seen our land. Even if you go and pay a visit now, it ain't the same. The oppressor is occupying it. They having young man Mike, they having pride parades under the Iron Dome in our land, over there in Israel and Tel Aviv. It ain't the same. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. We haven't. All we have known is captivity.
Right.
All we have known is slavery. They don't even want you to go back in time in the history and find the records. And history and archaeology will back up what the Bible is saying, that we are the true Jews of antiquity. The oppressor that calls himself a Jew is not a Jew. We just read so far in the scripture, right, in Deuteronomy 28 and 68. You cannot show me an account of this happening, the so-called white people that call themselves Jews. It didn't. And let's just say, for sake of argument, you know what I mean? If you wanted to make that argument and say, oh, they are those people. They're in that land right now. The scripture says, thou shalt see it no more again. That right there proves that they're not the real Jews, because they're in it right now. Alawah Yah. Barak. Yahweh Shem Yahshua
Coming up.
All right. I'll answer all of your questions in the room and online. Get you ready to rock out these camps this weekend. Get ready for the Passover that's coming up soon. How many weeks do we have until the Passover?
About 3 weeks.
3 weeks. Okay, no problem. We'll get ready for that. And of course, I will answer all of your questions and go into any topics that you need me to go into. Preguntas. Well, first, mi español. Somos la Escuela Israelita de Conocimiento Práctico Universal. Comenzamos en 1 Oeste Calle 125, Harlem, Nueva York. Desde 1969, debajo del mando General YAHANNA. Carnales, esta es la verdad. Si tú eres hombres hispanos, negros o indios nativos, tú eres Israel, el pueblo elegido de Dios. Tu madre y tu padre dicen que somos un culto y mantienen su iglesia sin culpa, pero su iglesia es culpable de todo lo que nos están pasando. Preguntas.
This is from Black Sheep.
Right, Black Sheep.
He said, can I get a breakdown of 1 Corinthians 10 and 13?
Of course, Black Sheep, no problem.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 10 and verse 13. There hath no temptation taken you, but such as is common to men.
You want me to? I'm assuming you want a general breakdown of this, Black Sheep, right? What's the point of that? There's no temptation taken you that is not common to man. What's the point of that statement alone? Who would like to give it a shot? Young brother up front.
Everybody go through the same temptation.
Give him a hand now. That's important to understand. Why? Because when you're being tempted, you think this is the worst thing that has ever happened to anyone. This is amazing. This is terrible. No one has ever lost a woman before you, I'm sure, right? That has never happened. When it happens to you, it's the worst tragedy in the planet. You lost your job. Oh my God. You're the first one to lose a job. You're the first one to have your heart broken. You're the first one to lose your car. You're the first one to have to sleep in your car. Young brother, sadly to say this, but you are not. It's a very common thing. The things that happen to you that tempt you into leaving the truth or tempt you into losing your life are common everyday things that happen to everybody. That's the point. Continue, please.
But God is faithful.
Read that again.
But God is faithful.
See, this tragedies and turmoil happen to everyone, but the Most High God is faithful. He's faithful. And that's what is difficult to remember, and that's what you must remember when you're being tempted. What do I mean when I say tempted? When I say tempted, you're provoked to do something wrong. That's what temptation is, to be provoked to do something wrong. A whore might, or I can't say that, I'm sure, right? Okay, let me try to practice not saying it. A promiscuous woman might tempt you into having sex with her, right? She's tempting you. She's provoking you into doing something wrong by how she's dressed, by the things that she says, by her cheap price, by the $20 oral sex that you can have with her. All of these things provoke you to do something wrong. Someone makes you angry. You might be provoked to harm them physically, right? The thing that they say to you, the offense that they do to you, even though it wouldn't be in self-defense, it would satisfy your anger to harm them, right? They're provoking you. That's what temptation means in the Bible, whenever you read it. It's the provoking to do something wrong. However, when you're going through that, it's common. Gracias. It's common. It happens every day. And the Most High God is faithful. What does that mean? Meaning, if you're willing to stand through the temptation, he will stand with you. He's faithful. Like, imagine having a faithful friend. You understand? Give me some characteristics of a faithful friend, Hakim. Well, you got a brother that's just faithful, meaning no matter what you go through, this cat is there. A faithful woman. Come on.
If I could, sir, I could use an example of my brother right here.
Go ahead, Warrior.
Officer Mahayaman is faithful.
Give him a hand. Well said. That's high praise, brother. That's high praise in the Israelite school of U.P.K. That's high praise. Officer Ibad is faithful. That's something that we all aspire to be in here, man. How do you know he's faithful? Because when the times get hard, he stands by you. He doesn't run when fear comes or when something happens that he thinks he might lose something. He still stands by your side and fine, Warrior. Well, imagine the Most High God while you're sleeping in that car, when that woman left you, when you lost your job. He's not going to leave you. He's going to stand by you. He's faithful. I pray you understand. Keep going.
Who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able.
I know you understand that. He will not suffer. The term not suffer means he won't allow. He won't allow you to be tempted past what you are able to be tempted with. So although you think that this temptation is going to destroy you, it doesn't have to, because the Most High God is not going to let it go that far. Just remember that. You think your life will never get better? So many brothers do, which is why you turn to committing suicide or living a reckless lifestyle in the hope that you will die. That's a person that doesn't believe that things will get better. That's a lie. Things absolutely will get better. You can live in your car, sleep in your car, and then go straight from that to a house and a family and a fireplace. That can happen. It has happened. The worst tragedy in the world. You think some slut that you're so in love with leaving you is the worst thing in the world. You just haven't met those bad broads that are around the corner. You haven't met them yet. You don't know them yet, but they're coming. The Most High God will not allow this provocation to destroy you. He's not going to do that because he's faithful. Continue.
But will with the temptation also make a way to escape.
That's what he does. That's what I just described. With the temptation, he also makes a way to escape. He makes a way to get out of this provocation, out of this temptation. There's a way. So many times in life, brother, you think you're going through something horrible. The Most High God just wants a change in you that you don't see or don't want to make. He makes your life go down the drain. You think, man, nothing can go my way. I can't get a job. I can't get a woman. He wants you to stop smoking weed. You don't know it because you'll just keep smoking. You'll think this weed has nothing to do with my problems. But in the car, sleeping in the car, when you're in there smoked out in that car, thinking, how can I get more money? How can I get out of this? All of a sudden you realize through much teaching, the Lord wants you to stop getting high. He wants you to stop smoking weed. He wants you to stop this. So you make some modification in your behavior that puts your life more in concordance with the Most High God and what he wants. Before you know it, brother, you're out of that situation now. Everybody understands. Was there anything else?
A little bit more, sir.
Please.
That ye may be able to bear it.
That ye may be able to bear it. To bear what? The temptation. So you can handle it. So many times you think you need this situation to end when you don't. What you need is the strength to handle it. That's what you need, which is the reason you can't get off of drugs. Many of you would stop getting high if you could stop wanting to get high. That's what you're waiting for. You're waiting for the day to come when it's like, man, I don't want to get high anymore. But until that day, I'm going to keep smoking. I'm an alcoholic, so I'll just keep drinking until the day comes that the Lord performs a miracle in me and I don't want to drink anymore. But I'll smoke and drink until then. But I know that day is coming. But until then, I'll keep doing it. Obviously, you're dying.
I was like, cuz I can't resist. That's like Sakari said, I don't want to get caged.
That's
the day is gonna come where I'm not gonna get paid by my wife.
That's for those of you that don't know it. Sakari is somebody, we make jokes about him out of fun and out of kindness. To the Sakari, he's a man that likes his woman to put a dildo in his butt. He made a video and told everybody about it for some reason. Well, listen, I'm sure he hopes that one day he will stop having this desire. That's not how it works, man. You're going to have to bear it. You're going to have to say, I want to get high, and I'm still not going to do it. I want a prostitute. I'm still not going to do it. I want cocaine. I'm still not going to do it. You have to bear the temptation to snort coke. Bear the temptation to pop pills. Bear it. Take it. As opposed to running from it your entire life. If you choose to keep running from it, the Most High will put you in a situation that you cannot run from. That's how it works, young brothers. All right. Was there anything else? On that topic. Please, next.
This is from Officer Malakia. He said, Shalom, Lord Christ, Baruch Bashaw, allow me to humble myself and ask this question, sir.
Please.
How does envy negatively impact us?
Oh, envy is it's the pathway to covetousness, to covet. The Bible says, thou shalt not covet. Many of you might have heard that from the Christians. They say that word and they break that commandment every day. Covet is attempting a theft, attempting to steal, attempting to have sex with another man's wife, attempting to take anything that belongs to thy brother. There's a law against stealing. There's a law against adultery. There's a law against taking anything that belongs to another brother, right? Then there's the law against covetousness. To covet is the attempted robbery. It's like the difference between murder and attempted murder. Everybody knows that in today's court system, right? There's a difference, but it's still strict because you wanted to murder that brother. You wanted to do it. You might not have done it. Somebody might have stopped you. Something might have intervened, but if it was up to you, you would have murdered that man. Well, the law against covetousness is attempted theft, attempted robbery, attempted adultery. Everybody understands. But where does that start? That starts with envy. Envy is a powerful thing. I sent you some videos last night that are perfect on envy, because envy is the root. Boy, my God. Envy is the root of why Eve succumbed to the serpent's temptation in the garden. Envy is the reason that our people have worshiped the God of our oppressor for so many years. Envy is powerful. It's a powerful thing. And it's the author of so much crime and death in your life. It is the reason that you are Christian. It's the reason that you worship a God that looks like the slave master, because you envy him. You envy his women. You envy his life. You envy his neighborhood. You envy his money. Captain Desaryak was telling me about all these rappers that recently got indicted for gang a RICO charge. A RICO charge is like where you just prove that he's a member of a criminal organization that performs crime, and so you lock him up based on his association with them. They just sent all these brothers, I think, to El Salvador recently because they had tattoos. Because of a tattoo that they wore, they got sent to El Salvador and put into prison. Didn't go to court. No judge said they were a member of a gang. They saw them with the tattoo. They put them in jail and sent them to El Salvador, right? So much of gang violence that becomes so much of your life when you're young and black and Hispanic. Gang violence is because these men envy white people, Italians, Irish people who have the American dream. You envy the American dream. You want it. You see it. Oh, you got a phone and you got a TV and a computer and a radio back in the 1930s. You see what they have. You see the cars, don't you? You see the house. You see the money, and you see the squalor that you live in. and the projects you come from, and the roaches and rats in your home. And then right out there are women, cars, and riches, and you want it so bad. But oppression doesn't give you the access to the American dream the way it does white people. So what do? You do what you can do to get what you want. That's envy. Envy is terrible and envy is powerful. Envy not thou oppressor. That's in the Bible. Do not envy your oppressor. Don't envy him. Don't look at his life and think that's something that you want. Why? Because thou knowest not his end. You don't know the end of the people you envy. I'm sure when you wanted to join a gang, it looked like the best way to become a famous rapper. Everybody else did it. It looked great. It looks like this is how I'll become a famous rapper, by talking about all the murders I committed. Because that's the way that 50 Cent did it, and the way this guy did it, and Snoop Dogg, and I'll tell you about my murders to prove I'm more gangster, thereby getting out of this hellhole I live in the projects of Chicago and the projects of Los Angeles. I live in a hole that I'm too embarrassed to let anybody come in my house. I want the house on the video. I want to live there. That's envy. And of course, you go on some white man's show, Adam 22, to become famous, become a rapper. And now you're sitting in jail for what, 25 years? And it's impossible, damn near, to beat a federal case. Impossible, cannot happen. You're wasting your money if you try to beat a federal case. You should just cop out to it, the best deal you can. You should not even attempt to go to trial if it's a federal case, because you're going to waste up to what, $1 million. Am I making up that number? I am not making up that number. That's the real number for a Class A felony. $1 million. And at the end, you're still going to jail. It's best just to, take that 15, brother, and thank the Lord for it. And let that be that. Envy causes that to happen in your life. If you have the video, you can put it on Thursday, you die, all right? Did I send it to you last night? On Messenger, maybe? Or I think I texted you, yeah. Both of them are about the same thing. If it happened last night. If I can get them later, I'll do them. If not, I'll do them, Lord allow, on Thursday, all right? I believe I answered that question. Unless he wants the precepts, I believe he knows those already. Okay, go ahead.
You wanted to add on to something, sir?
Please.
He said, how does insecurity affect us negatively?
You might have to define insecurity for me a little bit for me to understand your question, all right? What exactly is insecurity? I could ask Alexa if he wants. If not, if he wants to tell me, I'll wait, all right? Is there anything else? Gracias. Go ahead.
Sir, this is the one that you recorded, or was it the Sauce Walker video?
The one that recorded, the recorded ones. I didn't record them, but the recorded ones.
Come on, sir.
Oh, I had another one. Oh my God, I forgot. 1 second. Cut that on Thursday.
Ready to explode against the system that had failed. They were tired of being the lowest men on the totem pole. They wanted a piece of the American dream, just as the Irish, Italian, and Sicilian immigrants did 50 years before. They wanted money and power.
No problem. I've explained to him. This is from a documentary called The Mob versus the Movies, where they go back into the 1930s and they examine mafia movies. And the first gangster movie was in 1932. That's when they first made mafia movies and gangster movies, right? And they begin to speak about the effect that these movies had on the Italian and the Irish community and why they began to make these movies. And what you might need to do is play the first one, play the one, not that one, play the other one.
Much has been made.
Black and white, sir.
Please.
Sir. Also he also elaborated on what he was meant, sir.
Okay, go ahead. Matter of fact, let's pause the movie so I can get to the brother's question.
He said lack of confidence in your abilities.
Lack of confidence, that's still a little vague. There are some things that you shouldn't have confidence in because you shouldn't do it. There are certain things that you should have confidence in because the Most High God wants you to do it. You know, confidence won't make you, take you to the NBA. You know, if you think I just need to believe in myself, that's the American dream, is it not? Just believe in yourself and you can do everything. I can be a famous rapper. Anybody telling me that I cannot be a famous rapper, that person is of Satan, because I absolutely can do anything that I put my mind to. That's a lie. That's not true. That's the American dream, that you can do anything at all, and you'll put your mind to it. What does that cause you to do? You become a sucker to some hustler that's selling you studio time, that's getting you to sign a contract that's going to make you a slave for 50 years in the music industry. Why do you think black people sign those stupid contracts? Because this is their dream and they can do it, and they'll sign that contract. Then they end up absolutely poor driving Uber. And you say, aren't you that brother in that rap group I remember? No, that's not me. That's your Uber driver. That's your Uber driver, that rapper that you grew up watching. He's in your Uber car because he signed a record deal because he can do anything. He can do anything. That's American, dogma, and it's not true. What can you do? The Bible says this: whatsoever thou ask for in the name of Christ, it shall be granted thee. The things that you do for Christ are going to happen. That's that. Now, you might not know how. You might not know what Christ actually needs you to do. But desiring something for him is the thing that's guaranteed. It can't be stopped. Your petty little, hip hop dreams are the, machinations of a foolish child. And that's that. Anything else?
I have that video, sir.
Go ahead.
Much has been made about how his records try to show that the criminal rising from society and poverty. Poverty that made money all important. One of the prime characteristics of the mob is that it's all about money.
I'm sorry? No problem. I said, this is from the 1930s, from the 30s. And they would make movies and they would let you know in these movies that the conditions of poverty create the mob, creates gangs. Not because you're simply a low-down nigger and that's what black people do, because these weren't black people. These were Italians and Irish and Jewish people. But they learned that poverty created crime. Poverty created the mafia. Poverty created gangs, and there was no other way for them to get out of poverty because of oppression from rich white society. And they gave them mercy for the crime they committed. They understood when they committed crime. Play it again.
Like the Howard Hawks movie Scarface, the Public Enemy opens with a written disclaimer from Warner Brothers.
You might have heard of the rap group Public Enemy. This is where the name comes from. Because there was a movie, it was the second gangster movie ever made, and the name of the movie was Public Enemy. The name of every rapper is an Italian gangster's name. Every last one, virtually, is an Italian rapper's name. They'll call you a thug for doing it. They will call people that came from the inner city and they were impoverished and they were driven to a life of crime. Continue.
It says they are going to show you a certain strata of American life. A strata that breeds the criminal.
In the early 30s, they would put this in front of every gangster movie. Why? So that no one ever thought that these people they're showing shooting and killing and selling illegal alcohol, don't ever think that this is their fault. Don't think that. Read it. If you have it, can you please read it, Yedai?
Come on, sir. It says, it is the author's ambition of authors, the public enemy, to honestly depict an environment that exists today and a certain strata of American life.
A strata is like a class, right, or a world. And the author's intent is to show you this culture that they come from, a certain strata of American life. Go ahead.
Rather than glorify the hoodlum or the criminal.
They're not trying to do that. They're not trying to glorify the hoodlum or the criminal. Go ahead.
While the story of the public enemy is essentially a true story, all names and characters appearing herein are purely fictional.
This was based on an actual gangster. I forget his name. He was a gangster in Chicago, a white Mahomie or some Irish man's name in Chicago. And this was just his story, and they just changed the names. And they would put this on the screen, and they would tell you the neighborhood they come from is why they act like this. The poverty that they come from and the oppression that they go through. Continue to play.
Sir.
Starting in 1909, the Public Enemy's director, William Augustus Wellman, began to make the case that the conditions for crime are only found in the big cities of America. Immigrants are trapped in poverty, and the only way out is to move up the ladder in neighborhood gangs. In the movie's early scenes, the main characters are introduced as growing up in an urban environment, which by today's standards appears fairly comfortable. Unlike the conditions depicted in photos from that time. Right away, the opening shot lets you know booze is a problem.
Bad neighborhoods that these poor Italians had to come from. You're a nigger, and you're a terrible thing, and you should be eradicated or shipped off to El Salvador. The envy over the American dream is what causes brothers to join gangs. It's what caused those brothers in Los Angeles to get those indictments. It's what's causing, every terrible thing in your life about crime, the neighborhood you live in, the oppression that you suffer to make sure you cannot achieve the American dream in any legal way, to make sure of it. And of course, the only path is through crime, and it's been done 1,000 times. The difference is you're Black and Hispanic, and they do not feel pity on you. That's the difference. Come on.
If I could, sir, but you bring out it so heavy. I know a lot of people love The Godfather. But there's a scene in that movie that always stuck with me. Mm-hmm. It's when they all at that table and they're talking about why they shouldn't sell drugs to other Italians in their neighborhoods. And they said, well, we need to sell it to the niggas.
Yes, they did. Did you see Captain Tazariak? If he sent me a video today of the Hodge twins. See if you can get that video of the Hodge twins speaking about Captain Tazariak today. The Hodge twins are some type of podcasters who are racist. And they said the exact same thing that's said in the movie Godfather. Black people hate Black people just like they're in the Ku Klux Klan, because Black people have believed the propaganda of movies and the radio, and mainly their number one entertainment, church. Church teaches Black people to hate other Black people. And so what the officer is saying about the movie The Godfather is correct. This is all about envy, brothers. Envy. This is the feeling of envy, the desire to be like white people is what causes you to live a life of crime. That's it. Anything else?
Sir. This is from Lacombe.
Okay.
Yahweh. He said, Shalom, Lord Christ, my Lord, if I may.
Please.
Have your utmost mercy.
Absolutely.
In 2 Corinthians 5-8, does it literally mean we are going to be in front of the Most High God?
Okay, let's hear it.
Come from God. This is the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 5 and verse 8. We are confident, I said, and willing rather to be absent from the body than to be present with the Lord.
That's not speaking about that at all. Absent from the body, he's speaking about being away from the brothers in the school because he's in prison. The body, he's speaking about the body of Christ. Let me just confirm. Read another verse or so.
Verse 9. Wherefore we labor that whether present or absent, we may be accepted of him. Verse 10. For we must all appear, and every one may receive the things done in his body, according to that he have done.
Boom. This is not talking about dying at all. This is when he says absent from the body, he's absent from the body of Christ. The body of Christ are the brothers who are in this school. What book is this written in?
2 Corinthians. Sir.
In Corinth. He's absent from them because Paul was in prison. He was in jail. So when he says he's absent from the body, he means the people. He's absent from the brothers. But he's with Christ because he's in prison, but Christ is there with him, meaning the Spirit of Christ is there. Why? Because he's going to be judged when he goes before the Lord about what he did in his body. So even though he's not around you, he's still in the truth because he's locked up in that jail cell, wishing he could be with you, but he's keeping the commandments and in the truth in that prison, in that jail cell. Shout out to the brothers in the U.P.K prison program, man. Give them a hand. It's some hardcore brothers right now in this school. What's the brother's name out there in, what's the brother's name? Oh, forget it. Come on. Captain Zakar, that's correct. Over the prison department and all of those brothers, he calls me about weekly, about excellent priests, excellent officers who are in prison. They're absent from the body, but they're not absent from Christ. Everyone understands. Mashamar is another one. He's give him a hand, Mashamar. Lord allow he'll be coming home soon. And there are many other brothers, man, and they'll be coming home soon. They're absent from us right now, but they're not absent from Christ. That's the point. Is there anything else?
Sir. This is from young man. Oh, sorry. This is from Sister Deandra. She said, Shalom, y'all. Shalom.
Please.
Where does praying on your knees originate from? Is it wrong to do so?
Okay, I think there's a precept in Daniel where Daniel might have spoken about praying on his knees. Praying on your knees is not a sin. If you want to pray on your knees, when you go home, and you can lay flat down on the floor if times get bad enough. If things get rough enough, just lay face down flat on the floor like David did. When David had committed adultery, he had sex with that brother's wife, and the woman was pregnant, he laid flat on the floor, face down, to plead with the Most High God in subjugation that the Lord might save the child. At the end, the Lord decided to kill the child. David got up, washed, and went and ate because it was over. All right. So you can, be prone on the ground if you want. You can get on your knees, whatever you do in the privacy of your own home where nobody sees it. That's up to you. All right. In public, we pray the way we pray in public. We don't do those things. That's not our tradition. Like the Muslims get on a big flying carpet and bow down 5 times a day. That's not something that's not our culture to do something like that. All right. But at home, if you want to do it, you can. It's up to you. All right. You don't have to, but you can. Anything else?
Sir. This is from This is from Isaiah.
Please.
He says, if I made my liege with your wealth of knowledge,
Absolutely.
bestowed upon you by the Most High,
Please,
Yahweh.
Most High in Christ.
Are there any specific scriptures of forgiveness and resentment to water my Lord Shalom?
There's some good ones out there for forgiveness and resentment. I would go to the Lord's Prayer. I would start there. If you want to understand forgiveness, forgiveness is virtually impossible to understand. It's because it's not natural to forgive. There is no animal that forgives. There's no lion or dog or cat that puts things in the past. That is not natural to forgive anyone. Forgiveness is supernatural. So to do it, you're going to have to explain it to yourself in a way that you will understand. And this is the best way to understand it. If you don't forgive, you're not getting forgiven. Right. That's it. So now that is natural. It's self-preservation, right? You know, I want to eat. I know I'm going to get hungry. Well, the only way I eat is if I feed you. If I feed you, I eat. If I don't feed you, I don't eat. Oh, that I can understand. Now I get it. Now it's just self-preservation. And that's how Christ made us to understand. Forgiveness is in the Old Testament. All over the Old Testament, the Most High God was trying to teach Israelites to forgive one another. They could never do it. They could forgive the other nations for slavery. That's easy to do because the other nations have the power of the government. It's easy to forgive someone when you need him for a job, isn't it? That's quick. I need him for water. I need him for school. I forgive you, white man. I'm sure you do. Because if you don't, how will you eat? How can you be angry with someone who you need for your survival? You can't. You're quick to forgive him because you can't live without his pleasure. You can't live without his sun shining on you. You need him. But to forgive your equal, to forgive someone below you, why would you? He can't do anything for you, right? Why would you forgive him? The Most High was always trying to teach it all through Leviticus, all through Exodus, all through the prophets. We could never do it. Jesus Christ came with the clue, with the key on teaching us how to do it. Just take me straight to the verse, all right? Give me as much mercy as ye give, you shall receive as well. Go ahead.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 6 and verse 12. And forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors.
That is the key to understanding forgiveness. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. So I owe the Lord because of the crimes I've committed in the past, which are many, which are greater, which are more than the hairs on your head. Well, if I want to be forgiven for those, I'll have to forgive what you did to me. And if I don't forgive what you did to me, I am literally praying not to be forgiven. And that's the mystery about this prayer that Christians I know don't see. What are you asking for right here? Let the brother answer the question who asked. This is a prayer. This is the Lord's Prayer, right? Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Forgive us our debts, even as we forgive our debtors. What are you praying for? Someone answer the question. If someone in the room would like to do it, you can give it a shot. The brother who asked the question, he'd be perfect to answer my question. Anything? All right. Anyone else in the chat room that would like to give it a shot? What are you praying for?
This from Officer Malakia. Mm-hmm. Oh, Salakia. The brother came in and said, just praying for forgiveness.
No, you are absolutely not praying for forgiveness. That's what everybody sees. That's not what we just read. Read it one more time.
And forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors.
Stress the word as. Read it again.
And forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors.
What are you praying for, young brother?
Forgive somebody that did you wrong.
Say it one more time.
Forgive somebody that did you wrong.
Still, you're closer, but you're still not right. But you're closer. You are praying that the Most High only forgives me the way I forgive other people. Forgive us as we forgive our debtors. So literally you're saying, Lord, forgive me the way I forgive other people. That's what you're asking for. That's the prayer. So if you don't forgive people, then what are you asking for? You're asking for what? You want to give it another shot?
Be punished.
You're asking to be punished. Give him a hand. That's what you're asking for. It's a prayer saying, Lord, only forgive me like I forgive them. Forgive me as I forgive the people. Forgive my debts as I forgive my debtors. Meaning, if I forgive them, forgive me. Meaning, if I don't forgive them, do not forgive me. You're asking to not be forgiven if you don't forgive. That's what you're asking for. And that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. That old sodomite out there, Sakari, he thought it was so terrible that brothers in the U.P.K left the truth back in the 90s. He thought it was a horrible thing. Meanwhile, that whole time, he had a woman with a strap on, putting a dildo in his butt. He's not getting any forgiveness. Why? Because he doesn't give any. You understand? He couldn't forgive this brother for falling down in his old age when he was 70 or 80 years old and leaving the truth. He, as a young, strong man, put his beard down, ass up for a woman. Beard down, ass up for a woman. And he wants forgiveness? No. No, you can't have any of that, brother. No, none of that, Alec. No. All right, anything else?
Come, sir. This is from Brother Anava. Brother Anava said, what's up?
Let me give one more caveat about the brother's question about forgiveness and resentment. Now, there are many things in life that you should get some specific counsel on. What I find is many times I'm asked that question, it's about some woman that committed adultery on you, and you're trying to forgive her. If you catch a woman in adultery, leave her.
Right.
Do not stay with her. You can forgive her, just forgive her and never have sex with her again. That is a mistake. Now, if you've already done it, if you've already taken her back, then now you absolutely do need to forgive. To facilitate that forgiveness, that woman should become a person. She should become a completely different person than the one she was when she had sex with you, meaning sex with the other man. She should come into the truth. But there are certain things where it's more complicated, where forgiveness doesn't mean stay married to her. It's not, forgiveness means you don't kill her. You understand? That's forgiveness. Woman whored on you, I'm not going to kill her. Don't kill her. Let her go. Shalom. That's forgiveness. It doesn't mean stay with the woman and let her continue to be with her so she can whore 1,000 times. Forgive her, but don't be with her. So if it's about that, forgiveness does not mean stay with a woman who has committed adultery. The Bible says not to do that. That's in the Bible. So I just wanted to make sure, just in case that's what we were talking about. In specific, talk to your camp leader about the thing you might be harboring resentment over. Talk to the camp leader and give him specifics about your problem, all right? Anything else?
Come. This is from a young man, Roland. He said, can you tell me the difference between a concubine and a wife?
A concubine is a woman who you have because you have killed her father, killed her mother. She was dirty and bloody and matted with dirt, and she was left after the war. A concubine is the spoil of war. She's a captive from a war. That's what a concubine is. A wife is a woman who went to her father, and you got permission to marry her. You've paid a dowry. You made an agreement with her family, and now she's yours. That's a wife. What are the similarities between a concubine and a wife? I've given you the differences. I just did it just now. Now I want you to give me what is absolutely the same between a concubine and a wife. Let the brother answer the question. Ven otra vez, please. Did anyone do that for me? Same brother, if you didn't mind, I'd like an answer. It's all right. Gracias. Open it for anyone that would like to answer. One second, everybody. I'll give them a shot. No go? Solid? Please?
Having sex with both.
That's a similarity, yes. You're having sex with both of them. That's correct. What's another similarity? What do they both have in common? I've told you that a concubine is a captive from war. A wife is a free woman who you made an agreement with her family. The similarities are, those are the differences. The similarities are you have sex with both, and both of them are Israelites. Both. A concubine is an Israelite. A wife is an Israelite. They're not different in race. They're different in status in society. Status. The wife has a higher status because you didn't kill her family in a war. You made an agreement with her father. This woman was captive in a war. You killed her family. Now you're taking her into your home, cleaning her up, giving her a new dress, and cutting the bloody hair she has off. But she's still your sister. And now you're marrying into this family that you just were at war with. So now, Lord, allow these families can have peace. Because now you married the daughter of your enemy. In Israel, we fought each other. That should be familiar to blacks and Hispanics. We fought each other far more than we fought the Philistines and the Moabites. David said his hands were so stained with blood, he could not build the temple of God. Because David had killed so many Benjamites and so many Ephraimites, so many Puerto Ricans and so many West Indians. He couldn't even build the house of God because he killed so many of his own people to be king. They didn't hand David the kingdom. They didn't bow down and hand him the crown. He had to kill his enemies in Israel. He took it by force. He took Jerusalem by force. He killed all of his rivals, went to war with them. He was over them for 30 years until finally he was able to conquer the northern kingdom. And he took it by force. And he had to fight so much until finally men from the tribe of Y.A.H.N.Na, from the Hispanic, came to him and they said, David, we're going to follow you. And they joined David. And when the Y.A.H.N.N-ites, the Mexicans, joined David, he conquered everyone else. And then finally he was king over a unified nation. They didn't vote him in. I pray you understand. It wasn't democracy. He had to kill those Israelites to be their king. So much so, he said, I can't build a temple, man. I've killed my own people for my whole career. He had to. It was no other way around it. Okay? Because of that, you had many women that didn't have fathers. I pray you understand. All right? Anything else?
Khan, this is from Officer Bakari Allah. He said, Shalom, General. He said, Shalom, General. He wants to know about us going back to the wilderness and what will be expected. And he wants to know, is it metaphorically or literally?
The wilderness is not a metaphor. It's literal. It's like it was when we came out of Egypt. You want to think about that. You want to think about the Israelites coming out of Egypt. They wandered in the wilderness for 40 years because they continued to sin. They continued to break God's commandments in the wilderness. And so because of that, they weren't allowed to go straight from Egypt to the promised land. They wandered and got lost. God did it on purpose because of their sin. The more impatient they got with being in the wilderness, the more the Most High God made them stay in the wilderness because they got so impatient. They got so tired of eating this flat bread. We're about to have the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Israelites got so sick of eating the same thing every day, they wanted to go back into slavery just to have something different to eat, just to get the flesh that they were able to eat in Egypt, the flesh pots. They talked about that. Let us go back to Egypt where we had the onions and the leeks and the flesh pots. A flesh pot is what you would call today a restaurant. That's a flesh pot, a restaurant. They have it to this day in India and in China. It's a big old pot that sits outside, and they throw whatever in it and scoop you a bowl, and you pay them. These exist today in India and in China. It was called a flesh pot. The term restaurant is talked about when they had a big bowl of beef soup in France, and they said, come eat this soup. It'll restore you. It'll make you healthy. It'll restore you. And those places became to be called restaurants. It's a flesh pot. Okay, a meat pot, a pot of boiling meat, soup. You get my point. They didn't have that in the wilderness, though. They had flat bread every day, all day flat bread. They said, man, I'd rather be in chains in Egypt. I'd rather go back and build a goddamn pyramid than eat this flat bread every day. Well, that's why we have the Feast of Unleavened Bread. So you can remember what it was like to eat the same thing every day like a ration. And you want to eat it every goddamn day. Well, that happened so much we wanted to go back. So we wandered, right? That was the wilderness. We wandered in. When Christ returns, only the people who have earned it will get salvation, right? It was not like that in Egypt. Everybody left, whether they were righteous or wicked. If you were an Israelite, you left Egypt. Not so this time. This time you got to earn your way out of this kingdom. You're going to have to earn your way onto the chariots. In doing so, you'll have a better class of people. You understand? You'll have people that actually believe, right? The wilderness is where the Israelites go after Judgment Day, after the elect are taken up into the chariots. Then they're put down in the wilderness to be proved, where the Most High God can plead with them, meaning train them. And the wilderness is where this ragtag nation of people that escape slavery by the grace of God become a great and exceeding army. Become that army in the wilderness. In the wilderness, we change. We change. We organize. We organize in the wilderness. We get out there and we get ourselves together out there and we train and train and train. And then we are unleashed on the remnants of our enemies. The Chinese who are left, the Japanese, the Arabs, the Russians, the Saudi Arabians, and everyone else that will still be functional, still be around. They'll need to be taken out physically. And the Bible speaks about this in Joel, where we will run like horses, fire behind us and fire in front of us. That's in the Bible. That training happens in the actual physical wilderness. The Bible does not tell you where the wilderness is, but the wilderness by definition is a place where there is no population of people. There's no cities, no, civilization. The Amazon rainforest would be a perfect wilderness. There's nothing there but animals and trees, and that's that. And it's a vast area where there's just nothing, no people. Give me another place, some deserts, there's a lot of places like that. Maybe the Sahara Desert, I don't know. Definitely the Amazon rainforest. And there are other places like that where there are no civilizations. And one of those places will be where the Israelites come down to train. Everybody understands, right? Anything else? What I'm paraphrasing scriptures. If you need me to, I can tell you where they're at. Please believe they're in the Bible. That's why I'm saying them. All right, that's the whole point of this whole thing. They're in the Bible. Come on, I'm fine. Go ahead. Let me train myself to say no thank you in Spanish. Hold on. It's not no todo, no bien. Right? No bien. Bien, no. Let me look that up. Shit. Keep going. Go ahead.
Come on, that's some capital war.
Please.
He said, Shalom, sir. If time permits, we would like your perspective on sundown towns.
Okay, I'll give you that real fast. 1 second. Stand by. Let me look this up real fast. No thanks. I think it's just I'm good no bien gracias. Tell me if that's right, Spanish speakers. No bien gracias. All right, go ahead. Sundown town. Was there another question? Okay, you can look that up. Sundown town still exists. I understand, but I gotta find this in a minute. All right. Sundown towns still exist today. I'll explain the concept. The concept simply is, if you're Black or Hispanic, you cannot be in this town at night, right? These places still exist. They exist in Pennsylvania. There's places outside of Philly, brother. I wouldn't be caught out there at night. Places out there where those Amish people at, over there. I drove one of my kids out to some college, Kutztown University, brother. Listen, I've been in the terriblest projects that you young brothers don't even know existed, that we hung out in and had a wonderful time, man. Richard Allen projects, brother. I spent so much time in there as a little kid, jumping up and down on old mattresses, playing in them refrigerators. We played in them things, man. A refrigerator be outside. We get there and act like it's a boat. Lay the refrigerator down and just act like we're in a boat. Mattresses on the sidewalk, forget about it. That was a trampoline. And we jumped up and down in those old mattresses, went in everything, went in abandoned buildings and abandoned apartments, and had a ball in Richard Allen projects all over the city. I felt so comfortable in. Brother, I was out there outside of Pennsylvania. I wanted to get the hell out of there. I was driving like, Lord, car, don't go down out here. I'm looking at my gas tank like I cannot run out of gas out here. I mean, I was scared. I was straight up and down like, Lord, I have got to get out of here before the sun goes down. I could feel it. Like I'm getting this boy, and I'm looking at the clock, looking at my gas tank like, yeah, I got this. Come on now, get in the car. Get in, we got to get the hell out of here. You don't want to be outside, and this place is outside, right outside of Philly, 30 minutes from here. You don't want to go out there. It's so dark and so nothing, and it's another world. And all of the rules of society do not apply out there with those devils out there that live out there. Now, that's Pennsylvania. My God, in Mississippi, in Florida, I'd be getting the hell up out of there quick as I could if I was you. Go ahead.
If I could, sir.
Mm-hmm.
You said Florida. I'll never forget that. This was myself, Officers RY, Officer Picard, Officer Mahayaman. We was traveling to Florida for the Hebrew Academy trials.
Mm-hmm.
We was in one of these sundown. Remember that time we was at that first spot? I'm saying, telling Zara why I buy the car like, yeah, we're going to kill everybody in there.
I don't know if it's because I'm from the tribe of Judah, so-called Negro. I don't know if it's built into my DNA, but I could feel it. I could feel it. I got to get out of here. Let me tell you what the black people used to say. When you were around in a white town traveling, stay woke. That's what they would say a long time ago. The white man took the term woke. Now woke somehow means gay or LGBT. I don't know what none of that's about. But I have always heard black people say, where you going? All right, nigga, stay woke out there, bro. You out there partying with white people? You think you got some white girlfriend out there in some town? All right, stay woke. Stay woke. Don't be out there having fun, going to some party in some white neighborhood. You better stay woke. You work some new job around white people. You think you one of them? You think you can date their women? Stay woke, nigga. Stay woke. Stay woke meant never get too comfortable around white people, because if you do, you're going to lose your life. Emmett Till learned that lesson the hard way. Don't relax. Don't think everything is good. Don't think, I'm cool or everything is fine. I got a white friend. Stay woke. Stay woke. If you were around in sundown town, stay woke. Don't sleep. Don't relax. Do what you have to do and get the hell out of there. That's a sundown town. And it's commonly known among the people that live in that town. Why? Because you have to be there in the daytime. Why? Simple answer. You work there. You work. Your grandmother works for these white people. She's babysitting their children, washing their clothing. You're cleaning their house up. You're building something. You're a farm hand, or you work in these towns. Blacks and Hispanics work in these towns. When the sun goes down, you're getting the hell out of there, because if you're there after dark, what do white people think? You're trying to rob someone. You're trying to steal someone, or the all dreaded and hated thing. What's the last thing? What's the thing that every white man thinks that you're here after dark for? To have sex with that slut who has sex with everybody. That white daughter of his has sex with the damn arm of a chair. She has sex with everything. And if you're there after dark, you must be there to date their daughter. So they just kill everybody that's there after dark. Or they'll ride up on you and say, what are you doing here? Why are you here? What business do you have here? Am I telling you something you never heard of? Stay woke. That's the official stance of the Israelite School of U.P.K. on sundown towns. Stay woke. Is there anything else?
Sir. This is from Shah Allah. He says, Salaam Ya'alawan, if I may, is it okay to be using 1 Corinthians 5:1 as a precept to defend polygamy in the New Testament?
1 Corinthians 5:1. Let me hear it.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians 5, verse 1. It is reported commonly that there is fornication among you, and such fornication as is not so much as named among the Gentiles, that one should have his father's wife.
I'm missing the polygamy part. I don't get that part. The topic is, of course, having sex with your father's wife. Okay, I think maybe I'm getting in that. He might be saying if it's your father's wife and it's not your mother, it must be polygamy. That ain't bad, Shadyawa. That's not a bad viewpoint. That's an unusual one. I can't recall anyone using that in the past, but you could be on to something, officer. You could be on to something. It would be like assuming that it's your father's wife because he has more than one wife. Now, it's an assumption because maybe your mother's dead. Maybe that's why your father has more than one wife. I usually would not use this because I'd have to make a big assumption about it. But I do get your point, all right? We should work on that. And let me think about it for a second to see. Generally, I would not use this for polygamy because it is not specifically talking about having more than one woman. And I can pull precepts that are specifically saying a man can have more than one woman. So I would just go there if I'm trying to battle a Christian about polygamy. This specifically is saying it is unlawful to have sex with your father's woman. We're not talking about your mother, which is the point that Shadyal is speaking about. Your father has a different woman. All right. So that's what I usually would not use this one, but I could understand why you might. I could understand that. Work it out and see it. Battle a few Christians with it. Test it out. Go out there and pull it out on a few Christians and see what happens. All right. Go ahead.
Comment, sir. This is from Korshad. He says, Slocky General, can you break down Ecclesiasticus 37 and 1 through 5?
Okay, no problem. Go ahead and read it, please.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus 37, chapter 37 and verse 1. Every friend saith, I am his friend also. But there is a friend which is only a friend in name.
Yeah, this is, the Bible says to prove a friend. Friendship is so many things. Like General Mayak told me one time, he said, he just wishes he came into the truth sooner. And that is, I absolutely agree with that. I think about so many things that I did when I was young. It caused me to lose my thumb and lose partial ability in my left hand, that I was just doing so many stupid things that I would not have done if I was in the truth. One of them is never understanding what a drastic and terrible decision it is to decide who is your friend. Young brothers, you're going to pick a friend, and that friend is why you're going to get killed out, because you chose this friend. Friendship in the Black community, brother, and Hispanic community, you're dying because of that. You're dying because I decided this is the crew I'm rolling with, them. This is my homie. Well, if he's your friend, you're going to have to die for him. That's why you're dying. You're dying for this person. And once again, and it's as simple as I have decided he's my friend. He's decided I'm his friend. So we're dying together in a car. We're getting shot together. We're going to jail because he's my friend. It is such a giant decision. And when you're young and Black, which is another reason to hate the Christian church. You know the decision that you think is giant your entire life from young? Who you going to give a ring to? You think that's the biggest decision in the world, don't you? Every Black man does. You ask a Black man, you know what I've heard of? Good Lord. I've heard Black men say, I can have sex with a woman, I can make her my girlfriend, but I can't tell her I love her. Raise your hand if you've heard that before. Well, you can't say I love you. And I always go, you put all that rod in there, all that penis in there. You had your mouth all over her private areas. But you can't tell her you love her. Who in the hell cares? And the brother will say, well, I can't say I love you because that's serious. And I go, Lord, I thank the Lord I'm not young and stupid anymore. I thank the Lord I'm not you. To think, we're going to have sex all day in all the positions and all of that. But I can't say I love you because that's commitment. So we got a rough way to go. Let me give you another one. This is for you women, and you have met this woman. She gonna let you put your penis in every hole in their eyes. You gonna put your penis in their ears and in their eyes. You know what she won't do though? Is kiss you in the mouth. Who's ever heard of that? You've heard of it, right? Oh, well, we can't kiss because, kissing, that's a commitment. You want to put your penis in my eye socket, push my eye back, then go ahead. But kissing, that's a big commitment. You don't know what is important and what commitment is. You think saying I love you is a commitment. You think, well, I have sex with these women and I'll get them pregnant, which will put me in child support court and in jail. But the one I get on my knee and give a ring to, oh, she got to be a special woman. Why does a woman have to be special to buy her a ring? You're going to get a divorce in a year anyway. So what in the hell difference does it make who you give a ring to? Why is a marriage license important when you're just going to go get a divorce decree in a year or 2 years? Guess what? Let me tell you what you're going to do. You're going to get on your knee, give a woman a ring, sign a marriage license. Then because you don't have the money for the divorce, you're going to just be separated and just have sex with other people. And that's that. And never get a divorce. You just say, well, we're separated. Some of you, because you're poor, you're going to be separated from a woman you got a marriage license with. You're going to live in the same house. And she's going to have sex with other men. And you're going to just be like roommates. And then when the new brothers come over to have sex with her, they'll go, who's that nigga downstairs on the couch? Well, that's just my baby's father. He just ain't found a place to live yet. We just living together, but we ain't together anymore. Am I telling you something? Raise your hand if this is totally strange and you have never heard it before in your life. Everyone has heard of this. But they think this marriage license is a bond. This ring is a bond. A kiss on the mouth is a bond. You know what a bond is? Friendship. Who? You dying over that? You dying over that. Because this is my friend. You went to high school with. Some friend in the 9th grade. You're dying over him. That's the end of your life. Because you chose him to be a friend. That is why you're dead. Him. Choose wisely. Choose a friend with wisdom. Be careful. Be careful when you young brothers in high school. Choose wisely. Choose wisely. Read it again.
Every friend say, I am his friend also.
Oh, say they're friends, right? Every friend say, yeah, that's my best friend. You ever heard that before? My best friend. You're going to shoot each other in a couple of years. You're going to be running, shooting each other. That's all. With your best friends. Just like this woman you're so in love with. This woman you're in love with today is the biggest enemy in your life in 2 years. That's all. Every friend says, I'm your friend also. You're my friend. I'm also your friend. We're friends. Every friend says that. Continue.
But there is a friend which is only a friend in name.
Yeah, there's a friend that's only a friend in name. You're just calling him your friend, and he's saying he's your friend, but he's not really your friend. You see, many of us don't know the difference between a friend and an accomplice. I know I didn't. I thought an accomplice was the same thing as a friend. Sure, we're friends. We rob people together. We get high together. We go knock off holes together. This is my best friend. Of course we're friends. Of course we know everything about each other. We both were there when we did that. An accomplice is not a friend. That's not the same thing. Because you do crime, and you women think a bitch is your friend because she keeps all of your secrets. That's your friend. Well, of course she's my friend because she knows how I cheated on my husband. She knows how I did this. She knows how she makes sure that, she keeps all my secrets. I tell my husband I'm with her when really I'm with other men. This is my friend. An accomplice is not a friend. That's not the same thing. There's a friend there are people, every friend says they're your friend, but there are certain friends that are friends in name only. They're called your friends, but they're not really your friends. That's the point. Is there anything else?
You wanted to verse 5, sir.
Go ahead.
Verse 2. Is it not a grief unto death When a companion and friend is turned to an enemy.
I shouldn't have to break this down for you. Right? This is everything you've ever heard of. These two people in the same gang, from the same neighborhood, they're killing each other. That's that. They're killing each other. They're going to shoot each other. That's what's going to happen because a criminal, a vile person can give friendship. They don't have that ability to do that. So if you pick a person of low character, but you're requiring something of them of high character, selflessness, how in the hell is your best friend not going to snitch on you? He's snitching on you. Why? Because he is of low character. He's not going to go to jail. He could not go to jail simply by telling that you did something. You know what that would take? That would take a One West kind of ethic for someone to say, I could go home right now if I just did my time. But if I just told on you and told somebody what you did, then I would get to go home, which means I have to go to jail if I do not say what you did. That's only in One West, something like that. That's selflessness. That's the spirit of Christ. I'll say, listen, I did a crime. I'm paying for it. You caught me, then you got me. I'm going to jail. I should have never done it. I'm paying for what I did. Well, just tell us what I did and you can go home. Never. Put me in jail. I did it. Oh, that's the spirit of Christ, Doc. Where are you going to find that at outside of these walls? Who are your friends? Some snitches that you met in high school? A bunch of filthy snitches? Nah, they're friends in names only. They're not your real friend. A real friend would go to jail forever just to make sure that you didn't. That is the obligation we live under in here. That's why we don't commit crimes. We don't do things like that because we understand how serious it is. And we know that if we do it, there's nothing that we can ever do to get out of it because we will never betray our brothers to get out of trouble. I pray you understand. Continue.
Verse 3. O wicked imagination, whence comest thou in to cover the earth with deceit?
Oh, wicked imagination, when did you come in to cover the world with lies? The world is so full of lies, we think people are our friends simply because they say we're friends. What do you fools in gangs think? That the Crips are your best friends for life? The Bloods, the gangster disciples, the black disciples? Philly doesn't really have gangs anymore. We go by neighborhoods, I'm assuming. You think these people, because they're from South Philly, they'll go to jail for you. Okay, we shall see. They're from West Philly, so they're going to go to jail for me. Okay, I hear you. No problem. I don't think that's going to happen, however. All right, this world is covered with lies, and people say they're your friends, but they're going to snitch on you the first chance they get. The first chance they get, they're going to say something to get themselves out of trouble because they're a person of low character and they can't take responsibility for their own actions. Everybody understands. Is there anything else?
This is from his name is King. He said, I need some guidance. He said, I just had a breakup with my girlfriend that I wanted to marry. She said that I am being controlling because I told her she shouldn't eat shrimp, crab, pork, and lobster.
I got you. What's your specific question about this?
Just guidance on how to deal with that, sir.
Were you already having sex with her? Let's see if the brother can answer that question. I'll take another one while we're waiting, all right?
This is from Officer Yaraj. He says, Slocky, I don't want if I may get a breakdown of 1 John 4:18. I would like to use this precept. This precept is one of the papers to prove anxiety is fearing something outside of God. The water general.
I'm sorry, say that one more time. He wants to know what?
He said he wanted to get a breakdown of 1 John 4:18. He said he would like to use this precept to prove that anxiety is fearing something outside of God.
And he wanted to use this precept to see if anxiety is fearing something outside of God. Let me hear it.
Of God. This is the book of 1 John chapter 4 and verse 18. There is no fear in love, but perfect love casteth out fear. Because,
I'm sorry, did you have more?
Because fear hath torment. He that feareth is not made perfect in love.
Absolutely, he's correct. Anxiety is fearing something instead of God. Because you fear a thing instead of God, you got anxiety. Anxiety is like irrational, perpetual fear, where you're just afraid of everything. There are some people that are afraid to go outside. They're called agoraphobics, where they can't go outside their door. They're scared to death. You got some people with all kinds of disorders like OCD, obsessive control disorder, where they're just terrified that the stove is on. So they just check the stove, check the stove, check the stove, check the stove, check the stove. They can't leave out the door. They have superstitions. I was at a funeral recently. It's Jesus Christ. I never go around people in the world. This is one of the reasons. I'm at a burial for someone that died in the world, right? And this woman came over and she's talking to me. And as we're talking, she stops and she goes to a bush and puts something under the bush. And then this woman said, "What'd you do?" She said, "Oh, I'm in a graveyard. I had pennies in my pocket. I can't leave here with these pennies. I got to leave the pennies in the graveyard." Have you ever heard of this before? This is my first time hearing this. If you're in a graveyard and you have pennies, you have to leave them. You cannot bring them with you. I went and looked it up, and it exists where you can't take them. It's like you have to leave money there. So since you have coins, you're in a graveyard, you leave them. And when she came back, the woman I was talking to said, "Oh yeah, you don't play. That's true. You do have to leave those coins there." I said, "How fast can I get the hell away from both of you? How can I get the hell out of here as fast as I can?" Because that's anxiety. You're scared if I don't put a coin in this fountain, something bad is going to happen. If I don't leave a coin at the graveyard, something bad is going to happen. If I split a pole, my mother's back is going to, what's the one? If I step on a crack, I'll break my mother's back. If I split a pole, if I do this, cross your fingers, do this. Who the hell can live like that? What life are you living with all of your anxieties? Do those things make you feel safe? All of your superstitions, all of your covering in the blood of Jesus, do you feel safe enough to walk outside finally? Wouldn't you like to live without those anxieties? Wouldn't you like to live a life where your conduct earns you your safety? Your conduct, your behavior. Wouldn't that make you feel a lot safer? Your anxiety is fearing something outside of God. Since you're a whore, you need to throw pennies in a fountain. Do you understand? Since you're a slut, you have to constantly cover yourself in the blood of Jesus. Since you're a drug dealer, you have to wear a cross around your neck or a Jesus piece because you sell drugs and you murder people. But you're hoping that Jesus will protect you on the drug corner. Jesus. Wouldn't it be better just to not be a drug dealer? Right? Stop being a whore. Then your conduct would protect you. Then you wouldn't have so much anxiety. All right, that's all I can do for you. Is there I gave you one more thing to ignore. Is that enough? Add that to the list of things you ignore that I say. And now I'll just move on to the next thing. Is there anything else? All right, was that it? I will pass the class over to Priest Officer Mathumia.
I.S.U.P.K security announcements. With I.S.U.P.K started 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander Jerry YAHANNA. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves on the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, you can find this in Numbers 18:21, Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. It means the tenth in the Hebrew, Ma'asharah, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the church of the departed. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. The next one will be the Lord's Passover, the Lord's annual Passover in Atlanta, April 12th. All right, everybody must, pay $200, for Passover fees and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Everybody make it their business to pay that $200 Passover fee. All right, meet us down in Atlanta. Remind Akim and Aquathian to check the bulletin board in the hallway. If any brother wants to be a trooper in the school to start wearing all black, boot, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf, which means he's staring, we're just going to give a courtesy salute. And for brothers that don't know, that's new to it, you're just going to repeat after me. You're just going to literally repeat what I'm doing, all right? Now, the Israelite, Mount Shabbat. Ahmad. Barak. Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Barakatah. Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Barakatah. Barakatum. It's all good. You'll get the next one. It's all good. Dr. Matah, class dismissed.